Ladies and gentlemen, boys are back in town. Some of us enjoyed a little bit more sun than others. Some of us had SPF 50 plus on because the moment we spend more than 5 minutes in the sun, we get like a third-degree burn on our skin. James, how was your time away?
Incredible. Unfortunately, I'm back here chilling with you guys. You know, back to my normal life. Take me back to Dubai, but I'm here, guys, and it's actually good to be back. Just trying to get back into the old routine of just everything, you know. And I missed predictions last week. Big up to Jack. You know, he carried the video last week. So if you do like Jack, guys, give him an extra like and an extra
please.
comment. Show a bit of love for Jack.
And actually, while we're here as well, we've actually been really kind of enjoying doing this like target thing. We've actually been having increased engagement with the video. So guys, we will set that target at 40 likes again for this video. If you do like what you see, hit a like. That would be much appreciated.
In Jack, so Jack wants 40 likes. I'm going to set a target. And this is going to be quite difficult, but let's go for it, Jack. Let's try to hit 900 subscribers. So we're on like 21 away or so, guys. So if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Let us get us to 900 subscribers. Yeah, let's go for it, guys.
But let's have a quick switch over to how we did in Game Week 5. Obviously, James, I'm not going to lie to you. You kind of covered ourselves in glory a little bit. And I'm going to, first of all, pat myself on the back. I got 9 out of 10 results correct, so I'm very proud of myself. If people were looking for betting tips from this video from the previous week, I was the one to ride with here because the only game that I managed to get wrong was that kind of tricky 1-1 draw, Nottingham Forest against Burnley. Apart from that, I was right across the board, 2 correct results. And James, the thing that tickled me the most in this one, after your kind of rogue week, how many 3-1s did we see? I think there were like 4 or 5 over the whole game week of 3-1. So if you'd have gone 3-1 like you usually do on your game, you'd have gotten a lot more correct results. But James got Fulham Luton correct. We both did very well on Wolves Liverpool. James, obviously some of his more wild predictions obviously didn't go so well, but then some of the ones that were a little bit safer did go well. So 11 points to me for the week, 9 points for James. This means overall I have got a 2-point lead. I'm on 39, James is on 37.
And Jack, guys, at half-time, yeah, bear in mind, I feel like I could have got a lot more because I went a bit rogue with the Man City game and also the Aston game. But at half-time of that West Ham Man City game, I thought I was a genius, guys. You know, I even had James Moore pass around a goal or assist. I'm thinking, raw, I'm a genius here. And then, you know, City just does City things and it's a bit like, ugh.
Well, guys, we got a bit of a positive reaction to the way that we did the video last time. And I'll be honest with you, I only really did it out of necessity so that I had something to show you rather than just a straight up video of my ugly mug. So, but again, we got some positives from it. So we are going to do it this way. We'll kind of show our scores. And as you'll be able to see by this video, we are doing it live. So you'll see that James and I aren't copying each other's scores. And instead of doing it in kind of the snake way that we usually do it, I'm going to just do mine and we're just going to flip-flop back to one another. So this is the one bit where I kind of let the side down a little bit. We go.
I just want to bring up is it Harrison FC that always puts down his predictions? I just want to big him up for putting out his predictions every week. So I'm watching him. He actually beat us last week, Jack. So listen, big up to you, my friend.
That's a Chelsea fan who I think is trying to stay as optimistic as he can at the moment. But yeah, shout out to Tom for continually putting those in the comments. Hopefully, those of you watching will do the same as well. James, game week 6, Crystal Palace versus Fulham. I've gone for 2-1. And I'll be honest with you, I think Fulham are a tough proposition, James. I think that they prove week in, week out, especially at home, that this is a side that's not going to be messed with. I don't see European qualification. I don't see relegation. They are going to be one of those middling teams. But again, with Marco Silva, maybe the money being reinvested in January or next summer from the Mitrovic sale as well, I can see Fulham slowly making their way up into that kind of 6th to 8th conversation if things go well. João Palhinha signing a new deal as well, I think is huge. But I will be honest, I always underestimate Crystal Palace. And I know that there's been a couple of little injuries here and there, but I do think Palace, particularly at home, are much more dangerous. I do have Fulham getting a goal, but I think Palace will just sneak it 2-1. You've gone for 1-1 draw. What are your thoughts?
I feel like both teams this season have had similar stats. When I'm actually looking at their fixtures, they're both 1-2, drawn 2, lost 1. Each, and they've both been teams that we're a bit worried about for the fact that Crystal Palace lost a player like Wilfred Zaha, and then Fulham lost a player like Mitrovic there, and all the stuff is going on this year. But to be fair, they just kind of being in that middle third right now, and I just don't see a real big decider between them, especially against Fulham, where I'm thinking at times I'm expecting them to drop points. They somehow make it a tough game for teams. I know people look at the City game and see 5-1 there, but they were in that game, Jack, and like just remember they made it 1-0, the controversial of like City's second goal. So Fulham are, to me, a tough opposition there. I can't really see both teams getting separated. So 1-1 for me.
Yeah, and I think I'll be honest with you, I kind of wimped out. Home team, 2-1 win of 2 similarly matched teams. I don't really have a good feel for that game either. Moving on, next one, Luton Town at home against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Again, I think I'm going to say the same old stuff that I've been saying for the last couple of years with Wolves. Yeah, okay, they've lost a couple of players here and there that have gone to, teams like Manchester City. But look, I still think there's quality in this squad. I still think there's upside to somebody like Sasa Kalajic and what he's going to be capable of doing. I know I bring up that name all the time, and I feel like I
was going to say
I might need to start banning myself from some of the stuff I say.
Yeah, Jack. It's been like 3 weeks. It's been 3-4 weeks in a row now, guys. Next week, if he mentions that name, point it out next week, guys.
Will dock me points. But look, I just think that if he can string together some games, if he can get some service, he will start scoring goals, and maybe he can be a Mitrovic style of personality and prospect for this Wolverhampton team. And again, James, I'm going to kind of repeat myself again here. Yeah, this is a team horribly ill-equipped to play Premier League football. I'm not saying Wolves are going to be the toughest proposition, and this is a game that Luton will look at on their schedule and go, oh, we could maybe sneak 3 points here. We should be looking to get at least 1 point here. But again, I just think Wolves have that extra bit of quality, extra bit of investment. And I don't know. I kind of like, it's Gary O'Neill, isn't it, the manager? I kind of like what he does. He's kind of unassuming, and I think he'll be capable. So again, my first 2 games have been kind of safe. I just think the better team, quote unquote, better team at home for the Palace game, and then the better team away from home in Wolves 2-1. James, you got Wolves winning this one as well, but Luton not scoring a goal.
Yeah, maybe 2-1, but this is a game that I'm not massive confidence with goals. Both teams are desperate for points. Wolves this year could be in trouble because the fact, Jack, they played Liverpool and Manchester United, and they've been terrific in both games. The first half against Liverpool, they were tremendous, and the fact that they only went up only 1-0 with the amount of chances that they created, Jack, was ridiculous. And obviously, you mentioned what they did at Old Trafford. The issue with Wolves is, Jack, they genuinely cannot score goals. They create so many great chances. I'm not talking about half. I'm talking about clear cut. You're 6 yards away from goal. It's like you're forgetting to put your head on it. You're just making terrible decisions. And you talk about Luton. I don't seem to care for them because I don't think they care as much to be in here. It's almost like, we're here, guys, enjoy some 3 points. And again, I like to think that somehow that they're going to get a win in the Premier League, but it looks like they could go down. It would be a miracle if they stay up, but the lack of quality on the football pitch, the lack of goals there has me looking at 2-1. But I will not be surprised if Luton can win this game, but I'm going to say 1-0 Wolves.
100%. And guys, I think, based on what I've said and based on what James has said as well, I don't know what the over-under for goals for this game is going to be set. But I mean, if it's anything, if it's like 2.5, I'd probably hammer the under on that one if I were you. Moving on to the next game, Manchester City looking dominant, looking good. Did tickle me that Ange Postecoglou won Manager of the Month when you see what Pep Guardiola has done with this Manchester City team and the doubters that they've had. Again, the commonality of phrase comes in with keeping people motivated. When you've reached the top of the mountain, how do you kind of find another mountain to go when you've already climbed Mount Everest, right? That's kind of the metaphor I'm going to go with here. James, they've won a treble. They did it quite well, and they looked good doing it. How do you remotivate a team? Well, there's one man you can ask, and he'll give you a good answer, and that's Pep Guardiola. Yeah, guys, Man City will win this league again. And, home fixture against Nottingham Forest is going to be no issue for them whatsoever, with or without Kevin De Bruyne. 4-1 for me. I can see them maybe getting a little complacent in the second half, maybe a free kick or a penalty or something weird doesn't go their way, maybe a set piece. But again, couple of goals from Erling Haaland, maybe a goal from a Jack Grealish or a centre-back coming from a set piece. 4-1 Manchester City against Forest. James, 3-0 for you, just as emphatic. Why have you got City winning?
Do you know what, Jack? The interesting thing, I like to look at facts, guys. I like to look at the recent history of this fixture. So I've seen some of the history. So the last game was 1-0. We remember from last season in Manchester City also beat them 6-0. And then I'm looking at the other results. So I'm seeing 1-0, 3-0 Nottingham Forest, 1-0 Nottingham Forest. I'm thinking, when did this happen? Surely not on the Pep Guardiola. And I just checked. It was 1995, guys. So I can't really go on the recent, the last 5 games that they played in the Premier League. But to be fair, Jack, Nottingham Forest this season have been decent.
Yeah.
Decent. The fact that they went to Stamford Bridge and won. I know Chelsea ain't great. They had Man United had an epic comeback against them, so they have been a threat. And maybe I might have to look. I didn't deep dive towards this game because I feel like they're going to threaten Manchester City. I'm going to change this, Jack.
Okay.
I'm going to say 3-2 Man City.
Oh.
I think that they're going to threaten Manchester City a lot. They have weapons like Callum Hudson-Odoi, who scored that unbelievable goal, who, when he gets his head right, is a very, very, very threatening player there. Alanga, they have a lot of threat. And I was thinking about the 2-2. It was in there, but I can't not back Manchester City for 2 weeks. So let's keep it at the 3-2.
Yeah, guys, we're going to bookmark that Man City Forest game for when we look at how we did next week. Because if James picks up an extra point there, I'm not going to be a very happy bunny. I'm moving on to the next game: Brentford versus Everton. Yeah, James, again, I find myself, repeating myself here again with a lot of these teams. I don't have a good feel for Brentford, but for whatever reason, they're good, especially at home. So I have them beating Everton. Everton are completely toothless. I don't see them scoring against a well-organised and well-motivated Brentford team. 1-0 victory, I could see this being 2-0, but I think a 1 or 2-0 victory for Brentford here is as good as done. You've got 2-1, Everton scoring a goal. What's your breakdown for this game?
Jack, as you talk here, I get a little bit of a change of the mind. 2-1 was my agenda because, Jack, I'll be dead honest with you.
Yeah.
Everton, I just wanted to get relegated. I'm just not a fan of what I'm seeing. The game against Arsenal, Jack, it was toothless, man. It was I hate seeing teams just try to just hold out to 90 some minutes and then just chuck the ball into the box and pray for the best.
Right.
But Brentford have been good, but I think this is the game that Everton can look at and maybe get something from. They're in desperate need of something, Jack. Right? Because Sean Dyche, in my opinion, the way the football is, he's 4 or 5 games away from losing his job, Jack.
100%.
Let's be just what Premier League teams are like. I think it's cool that we've got to 5 games and no manager has been sacked yet. But I think that they're going to get something from this, and they need something from this. So I'm going to say, Jack, I'm going to go from the 1-0 you have there, and I'm going to say 1-1. You're
going to go 1-1.
Yeah.
Okay, James.
It's okay to make some changes, Jack. It's okay to make some changes.
Yeah, look, I respect it, especially when picking tricky draws. That's not easy. Okay, James, kind of a little bit of kind of talk of the town at the moment is Manchester United Football Club. We both have them beating a pretty desperate Burnley with Vincent Kompany as the manager of Burnley Football Club. I'm just wondering if the Burnley side that we saw from last year, which might have reminded you a little bit of the Brighton side that we saw last weekend, will rear their heads here. I am going to say, and again, we could probably, and we may well talk about this in another 10-minute video, but I think that Erik ten Hag is setting standards at a football club that hasn't had standards for about 10 years. And I think we're seeing the growing pains of that happening right now. I did see Pep Guardiola's press conference where he did say that he thinks that Pochettino and Ten Hag, Chelsea and Manchester United will get into a rhythm at some point. I believe that as well. But James, I don't know if it's going to come this early. I am banking on the side that they're luckily playing one of the worst teams in the league in terms of current form. They might take advantage of that. Maybe it'll be a good motivator for them. Maybe a bit of a feel-good game. Maybe somebody like Rasmus Højlund scores his first goal. There's a lot of positives around it. I'm going to go for 3-1. But James, I'll be honest with you, Man United could lose this game. They could draw this game. How do you see this one playing out?
You mentioned how the sort of squad that both teams have, especially the style too. I think the style is a little bit similar. I think De Zerbi plays, the way he plays out from the back is like ridiculous. But it's different to you giving me Premier League proven quality to Championship proven quality.
Right.
You know, when you look at Brighton, they got players like Tyreek Lamptey, Danny Welbeck, Adam Lallana, very, very good Premier League players, standard Premier League players. While you look the majority of that Burnley team, could you really list me off the names like that? It doesn't come off the map. And granted, fair play to Vincent Kompany. He's coming in with a similar squad like he had in last year. He backed these players, but there's levels to this, you know what, and the Premier League is ruthless. And when you give the ball away in the Championship, you might not get punished. Do it in the Premier League, it's a different ball game there. I said Man United needed to win last week, or they needed not to lose. They lost. They have to win this game, Jack.
Feels like
it's. Listen, United fans are already in meltdown, and now it's getting to the point where like they're singing "Viva Ronaldo," Jack. You know, I'm seeing people talking about, oh, we need to appreciate Ollie's time there. That's how deep they were even bringing up the Mourinho times. They need something to cheer them up. They can't go another week with a loss, but especially against Burnley, where there is an opportunity to win, Jack. I'm going to think that they're going to just sneak it in a very, very, very difficult game, but I'm going to say 2-1.
Stick it with 2-1. And James, I'll bring this up as well because I tweeted this maybe a week ago. Mauricio Pochettino and Eddie Howe looking over their shoulder at Julian Lopetegui. Maybe Eric Ten Hag needs to start looking over his shoulder as well, because they're the guy who wants Premier League football again, who is a proven stud of a football manager who's waited in the wings. So the pressure is on. Moving on, James, kind of game of the week. Let's be perfectly honest. It is the North London derby. Spurs are playing well and kind of hot right now. Arsenal also, again, putting results together. I mean, that Everton result, as much as it might seem really, really silly, Everton, that's not been a good place for Arsenal to go. So that's a big win for them at the time. I'm going 2-2. I just think this is two teams playing very, very well against each other. I don't think either team's going to want to lose this one. So I'm going to play safe on the 2-2. You have Arsenal snagging it at home by 1 goal. What's your breakdown of this game?
The magical word, you just mentioned it there. It's a home. It's at the Emirates. You know, Arsenal, Spurs have never done a double against us. Spurs have won one game at the Emirates. You know, granted, it's been unbelievable from them, and they're going to come in there with so much confidence. But at the Emirates, Jack, me being an Arsenal fan against Tottenham, I'm very confident. You know, Spurs have been able to get a few draws at the Emirates, to be fair, in the last 10 years, but majority of the time this has been a fixture heavily dominated by Arsenal, and I can just see us again just edging them out. I was thinking of going 3-1 because I do think that we're going to get that third, but I'm going to give me Jack, give me the 3-1 again. Give me 3-1 Arsenal. Give me the 3-1, you know.
There's the confidence.
Let's be emphatic.
Right, moving on to the next game, Brighton versus Bournemouth. James, I'm going to, again, repeat myself. This is the best run, or at least one of the best run football clubs in the world. And we're seeing it week in and week out. And I think as much as De Zerbi deserves a lot of credit, I think that even going back to the likes of Graham Potter, and even prior to Graham Potter, seeing what this recruitment team and front office have done behind the scenes at Brighton and Hove Albion has been absolutely amazing. Bournemouth is going to be no issue, especially at home in Brighton. No issue. 3-1, maybe Bournemouth get lucky at one point. You've got it 3-0. Similar kind of story?
Again, Jack, the way that they're playing, you know, the fact that they're going to Old Trafford, making it look that easy. You mentioned the best run club, this and the way that they've been able to dominate the transfer window and also dominate on the pitch with the squad that they do have. De Zerbi's, I don't know where this guy's going to go. City, Chelsea, wherever he wants to go, he can go to. Right now, 3-0. What can I say?
Yeah, light work, kind of a routine one. Chelsea, Aston Villa, one of the more difficult games, in my opinion, to pick, although we do both have the same result. I can just see this one being competitive. But then Villa having that edge of we're actually a football team and we know each other and we know the way that we want to play, and we're not young. We've got a bit more of experience. We can deal with bigger moments, and Villa just being able to snag this one late. You have a little bit more emphatic, keeping Chelsea at Stamford Bridge to a clean sheet. Do you want to explain that one?
Again, I wouldn't say it's going to be emphatic, but the difference to me is going to be in the final third, Jack. Chelsea are going to create chances. Yeah. Chelsea are going to probably be the better team. But the difference is that on the other side of it, you got players like Diaby in there, Ollie Watkins, in there, Leon Bailey, players who can take their chances, Jack. And that's going to be the biggest difference in this game. This may be a one where for 70 odd minutes, Chelsea are banging at the door. Villa get the chance, get the goal. Chelsea are going at it, and then they hit them in the counter-attack and get the second. A 2-0 looks emphatic, but it's not going to be an emphatic game. But I just have Villa with what they have in the final third being better than Chelsea. So I got Villa.
And again, maybe a conversation for another day, but again, Graham Potter wasn't maybe afforded the amount of time that Mauricio Pochettino is going to get. And this will be a lot of losses stacked up if it continues going this way. Next game, Liverpool versus West Ham. Again, I know it's at Anfield, I know it's Liverpool, but it's kind of a tricky game. West Ham have been very impressive so far this season. I've definitely had it be a little bit closer with my 2-1 score. You've gone a little heavier on the 3-1 side. We know that's your signature result. My breakdown of this game, very, very simply, is that I think Liverpool are on a roll. Liverpool are at home, and West Ham will go into this game probably expecting to lose. And I think that Liverpool can play on that and will just eventually beat them. That there is enough talent and players in this Liverpool team who are showing out where we had question marks, and a lot of those questions have been answered very, very positively. So I'm going to say that the momentum continues with Liverpool. James, how do you see this one going?
Both teams will be playing in the Europa League on Thursday, if I remember right, and I think West Ham will put a little bit more into it other than Liverpool. Liverpool don't think they care as much about it. I think probably if it gets into the group stages and the knockout stages is when they're going to start putting it in with their players. So I think that's going to play a part of it. And secondly, it's just the fact of Liverpool are going to give away chances, but Jack, when teams don't take these chances, Liverpool have the ability to punish them with players like Mo Salah, Darwin Núñez, Gakpo, Jota. It just seems to be the thing that they will concede, but you got to stop them going the other way, and every team has struggled to do that. So I got 3-1 Liverpool.
Final game of the week, Sheffield United versus Newcastle United. Look, I just think that I don't know if Newcastle are going to be playing their best football at this point, but I do have a feeling that just purely because they're up against this Sheffield United team, there's a huge gulf in quality that Newcastle will eventually just show out. Callum Wilson may get a goal. Maybe we see a goal from a defender, from a set piece or something like that. I can't see Sheffield United scoring against this Newcastle setup. James, I will say one of the more interesting and a more rogue pick from you here with 1-1. How do you see that one?
Newcastle hasn't been great as everybody's made them out to be. I feel like we've built them up to something that they're not. Granted, yeah, they got Champions League football last year, but the thing about football is being able to be consistent. You can, like, any team can get it for one season, but they need to find a way to be consistent. Granted, they did beat Brentford, but unfortunately, the penalty was a bit dubious. Let me not lie there, and it hasn't been incredible for them. But they have played some really, really top teams. I think Sheffield United at home with that crowd can get something out of it. I'm not saying that I don't see them winning, but I do see them getting a point. So I'm going to say 1-1.
1-0. I like it.
And secondly, why is Newcastle getting all these live games? Sky just seems to, upon all the teams right now, Newcastle for the last 6 weeks have been on my television. Can we not get another team out? Yeah, I'm sick of seeing Newcastle. Sky, do better. With the amount of money you charge, do better.
And James,
sorry, Newcastle fans. Sorry.
But also, they're not playing that well. I don't mind watching Newcastle if we're seeing some cool football and some stuff, but they're not necessarily doing so well. Guys, I've got a slender 2-point lead, and we know how quickly that can disappear. Of James, you've seen our predictions there on the screen. Please drop a like on the video if you do like what you've seen. Please put your own predictions if you want to play along with us here. If you're not subscribed, James mentioned it earlier, we do want to hit that 900 sub mark as soon as we can. So if you're not subscribed, please do us a favor, hit subscribe, hit the bell as well. James, anything else from you?
Guys, like, share, and subscribe. Get us to 940 likes. Please hit that, guys. Thank you for watching. This is Box to Box Football. Put your comments down below, and we will see you. I mean, your fixtures, your results down below, and we will see you next time.